Hi, and welcome to this live reading from The Tears of Boabdil by MacDonald, and this is presented by Itsy Bitsy Book Bits. Chapter 1. Waiting is the mother of change. The hard wooden bench aches my buttocks, making a torment of the weight. These seats assert the court's grandeur, offering only the most austere comfort. I squirm and scratch my beard, but the skin is tender and newly shaven. Change. I am no longer bearded, no longer zombie. Part of what I will reveal is a lie, or a story, which is much the same thing since I'm not sure truth exists. You may think you'll be able to figure out which bits are untrue, but I should warn you, I'm an excellent liar. Spinning yarns is my business, even when it's done with love. Can you love those to whom you lie? I believe you can because I have. You may think that makes me a bad person. Whether I am the hero or the villain of this tale, you will decide. With the benefit of hindsight, I'm free to range over the whole of space and time. This allows me to explore not just what happened, but what it meant. I'm not going to narrate this exactly as it happened, step by step, because the roots of things often lie in the past, and they also lie in the future. Our hopes and plans shape what happens, so I'll try to craft the tale to make best sense of it. Where to begin? The swing doors to the waiting room open, and she is there. My heart lurches. Aisha first enters my story through the humble medium of trade goods, a pack of cigarettes and a bottle of water. She stood in the shadow behind the counter where I entered the corner shop, and only when I approached did I see her features. There was nothing special about her, except maybe a hint of sadness in the large obsidian eyes etched with coal. The small mystery of that melancholy was strangely attractive. Perhaps spending all day tending the shop might make anyone a little sad. The luster of the hair, which I later learned she brushed for half an hour every morning, was not visible, for she covered it with a black hijab trimmed in gold. There was no sign of her brothers, Rasheed and Atfak, in the shop. Perhaps they were in the flat upstairs. But I was certain I could find them in the mosque at the Zuhr noon prayer. The walk wasn't far. I'd studied the map that came with the file. These first moments were always exhilarating, when you became another person and entered the chase. Nerves become better, muscles more. I sensed a pulse at my temple. Even the anxiety about being unmasked was a buzz. Could she tell who I was? No, of course not. The shop was sandwiched between an international money transfer office and a beauty salon and a down-at-heel back street. Crates of fruit and vegetables were stacked chaotically over the pavement, ripening in the spring sunshine. Inside was a jumble of snacks, tins and bottles, brand-name baked beans jostling with exotic canned goods labeled in Urdu. The scent of spices mingled with that of mildew. Aisha's face transformed as I plonked the bottle of water on the counter. The transaction flipped a switch somewhere, and the marionette came to life. Gone was the sadness, and a smile of welcome made her radiant. White teeth and eyes from which the light danced. "Will there be anything else?" Those were the first words she spoke to me. "A packet of cigarettes, please, sister," I said, leaning across the counter towards the cigarettes, and asked for my brand. I caught her perfume, flowers, and underneath that her own essence of rich loam. "Oh, you're a Muslim." She had picked up on the sister, and her smile broadened as she included me in her world. "Yes, sister, I am, praise be to Allah." As she turned in profile to reach for the cigarettes, I was struck by the disproportionate angularity of her nose. When she turned back to face me, her long equine head reverted again to perfect balance. This part of the story had not yet happened, but I always hated it when Aisha turned away from me. If I am honest, it wasn't just because of the rejection. It was my churlish Anglo-Saxon ideal of beauty marred by her South Asian nose. In some ways, we are all perhaps reconstructed racists. Whenever possible, I approached Aisha head-on, and head-on was how she approached life. "There you go, brother." To prolong the encounter would have been wrong, but at least I was in and working. For now, I thanked her and left the shop, tearing the plastic ring off the neck of the bottle. I paused to drop the ring and the cellophane wrapping of the cigarette pack into a rubbish bin. As I looked up the street towards the mosque, I savored the gurgle of water down my throat and the first hit of nicotine since I got off the train from London, new to town and eager to be in action. The action has led to unexpected places, to this courtroom. Aisha glares and pointedly sits on the far side of the room, but this was all for her, the only way I knew how to protect her. Time in stories doesn't run in a straight line from start to finish, and depending on where you start, the meaning changes. Rasheed and Afaq could provide another beginning. As the plaintive call to prayer reverberated around the labyrinth of terraced streets, the mosque seemed to tell a story about the interweaving of past and present. Its architecture was a confection of neoclassical and Indo-European. The central onion dome topped a Bargate stone grand portico of purest white, detailed in turquoise and umber. To either side, pavilions bore canopied pinnacles at the corners. As I joined the stream of worshippers, passed through the doors, and made my ablutions, some favored me with curious glances. White Muslims are still not common, but I sensed no hostility as I knelt facing Mecca. I recognized Rasheed and Afaq kneeling near the front. The photos on the file didn't do them justice. They were handsome men. The beat of my heart sounded in my ears, a dull thud of pressure, not at all like the whoosh of medical equipment on the telly. Air sighed from my nostrils, in and out. I inhaled and held the breath, then released it slow and sure. My heartbeat slowed, the pulse in my ears steadied. Rasheed was wearing a green shirt, the color bright and sharp, peculiarly vibrant. I watched the cotton stretch over a broad back as he bent his head to the ground. A fly settled on my arm, and I didn't brush it off, enjoying the iridescence of its wings. No mistakes now. Take it slow. Don't blow it. When the prayers ended, I didn't try to strike up acquaintance with the brothers. Respect is the currency on which groups run, respect and shared ideals. You earn your place, and I still needed to secure mine. Worshippers spilled from the mosque into the spring sunshine, and a knot of eager friends surrounded Rasheed. To some he smiled and inclined his head, to others he offered a word. One he clapped on the shoulder, leaning in close to share a confidence, and I saw the man grow a little straighter, squaring his shoulders. The sexes prayed separately, and now the women emerged. Rasheed's wife, holding a child by the hand, joined him, and he put his arm around her without embarrassment, then lifted the laughing boy high into the air. The file told me Rasheed was a man of some standing, a fine schoolteacher. You didn't just go up to him and say hello, not if you wanted to avoid suspicion. Or perhaps the story really starts 1,000 miles south in Granada, where Aisha and I first lay together.